Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life.
You know, it's wild to think it's almost been 10 years since Five Nights at Freddy's dropped and completely changed indie horror. Back then, it was this weird, low-budget experiment that somehow terrified and mesmerized millions of people. And since then, well, the series has gone through a few identity crises. In its accidental sprint to become a full-blown multimedia franchise, we're talking books, spin-offs, movies, the works. Five Nights at Freddy's kind of lost the plot, literally. The lore got so tangled, you need a YouTube Five Nights at Freddy theorist degree just to understand what the hell's going on anymore. And that's fine, it happens. Success does that. But it also made the series exhausting. If you're trying to get into it today, good luck. And that's exactly why Into the Pit hit me harder than I expected, because it doesn't try to pile on new characters or rewrite the timeline again. It just goes back, way back to the first story from the first book. And somehow, it nails the feeling that made Five Nights at Freddy's special in the first place. The eerie, the simplicity, the mystery. All mixed back together to create one of the best Five Nights at Freddy games ever made. And it all begins with a time-traveling ball pit that hides something far darker. You play as Oswald, a kid in a dead-end town where nothing ever happens. His dad's working for scraps, his friends are gone, and every day feels the same. Until he finds Jeff's Pizzeria, this half-abandoned relic of better times. And in the corner, there's a ball pit. Filthy, rotting, out of place. When he jumps in, he doesn't end up somewhere else. He ends up somewhen else. Back in the 1980s, when the pizzeria was alive, full of color, noise, and something deeply wrong hidden beneath all those cheerful smiles. What Into the Pit gets right is tension. It's hide and seek, stretched to the point where your nerves start to fray. That slow, crawling dread that something's right behind you, even when it's not. Now the story, that's where opinions split. For longtime Five Nights at Freddy's fans, it's action-packed with callbacks and weird little lore threads that'll hit home. For everyone else, it's a smaller, straightforward story about a kid who just wants more time with his dad and ends up dragging them both into a nightmare. It's simple, perhaps a bit too serviceable, but it works because it feels like Five Nights at Freddy's again. Gameplay is split into two halves. During the day, you explore the town, talk to the people, dig up clues, do a little puzzle solving, and try to make sense of what's happening. It's slower, quieter, giving you more time to breathe before things get weird again. Then night hits and everything changes. You're back in the pizzeria, crawling through the vents, sneaking between rooms, hiding under tables, playing skee-ball, doing whatever you can do to make it out alive while searching for your father. It's tense in that old school way, where every sound has a weight, including your own, as making too much noise alerts them of your location, letting the footsteps get closer, and that broken robotic laugh that just freezes you in place. You start holding your breath without realizing it, hoping the yellow rabbit didn't see you. I've got to mention the sound design too, the low hums, the faint static, and that warped retro soundtrack makes the whole place feel alive in a way that's both nostalgic and kind of unsettling. The animatronics themselves do get a bit freaky at night. Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy all move through the pizzeria, alerting the yellow rabbit when they catch a glimpse of you. You see him once, and that's all it takes. You can even set off noisemakers to draw him away. You'll spend most of your time, easily over 80%, in the same few areas, completing objectives to survive each night. Most objectives boil down to find this thing and bring it back. That's where the pit starts to suffer, in its repetitiveness. The hiding minigames don't really change much, and the flashlight might as well not exist, feeling more like a prop. Even when the power is completely out, you can still see fine, which kills any point of it. Besides the first 3 nights, things start to blur together. You're not doing much new, and that's a shame, because the opening hours, the prologue, are where Into the Pit is at its best. The whole game clocks in around 4 to 5 hours, and what really surprised me were the arcade machines. And they're not awful either. A few of them were actually pretty fun. It's one of those niche additions that devs definitely didn't need to include, but now that it's here, and with a few callbacks to the past games, it's fun to mess around with. You'll find parts scattered around the pizzeria that let you repair and unlock more of them. Once you finish, the game opens up with multiple new endings and a custom difficulty option that actually change AI behaviors and patterns, and I'd actually recommend trying it on its hardest difficulty. Carrying with its few extras like alternate music in-game and a full playlist to jam to, and of course, Music Man! So it's a bit all over the place, but here are my final thoughts. Now, is Into the Pit the best survival horror game you're going to find on the market? Certainly not. But what I enjoy most is how it manages to keep that tension on you the whole way through. No Five Nights at Freddy games has given me that feeling since the very first entry. And with Into the Pit's rich atmosphere, with one of the most gorgeous, smoothest pixel art styles I've ever seen in a game, and that constant sense of intrigue. I've got to say, if you're looking for a short horror game, and even just a Five Nights at Freddy experience that doesn't expect you to have watched all 118 game theory videos, this one's worth your eye. It also makes me excited again, because for the first time in a long time, I actually believe this franchise has somewhere interesting to go, showing that the IP can flourish under new developers and fresh ideas. So yeah, I can most certainly recommend Into the Pit to you. So here at Critical Reset, I give Into the Pit a 4 out of 5. I'm Sealess Soul, and this is Critical Reset, where every game gets a
Connection terminated.